In this session, we're going to look at how you can add a new nest site via Map View. Adding new locations to SRMS Online can be achieved via Map View. Map View is the default view that you reach when you click on the Locations menu at the top or on the Manage Locations icon in the middle of the home page. When you arrive in Map View, you will see a range of tools in the Create Tools panel to the left of the map. So let's go ahead and add a new nest site via Map View. First, you need to zoom into the area where you wish to add in your new nest site. So in this case, we're going to zoom in to the University of Stirling campus, where let's say we've got a fictional raven study up and running. So we can see we've already got 3 nest sites loaded onto our map. We've got one here at Airthry Castle, we've got a second at Airthry Golf Course, and we've got a third here on Andrew Stewart Hall. Let's say that a pair that normally nests on Airthry Castle have set up a new alternative nest site across here on Logie Parish Church. So we basically want to add a new nest site in to an existing home range. To add the nest site onto the map, we come across to the Create Tools panel on the left hand side of the map and click on the Nest Site button. This brings us up a little blue pin which we can come and drop on Logie Parish Church, where we want to add the new nest site in. Whenever you create a new nest site, you need to take a decision about whether you want to attach the new nest site to an existing home range, or whether you'd like the system to create and automatically assign a new home range for you. If you look in the drop-down menu, the system detects potential home ranges that you might wish to attach the new nest site to. We've got 3 in this particular instance. You might not, however, know exactly which home range that you're trying to attach it to because you might not be familiar with the codes. So what you can do is click on this Find by Nest Site button, and this will help you pull back the relevant SRMS home range code based on information about a site that you already know is in the home range of relevance. So in this case, we'll start typing in Airthry Castle. We can click on that, and that's pulled back for us the relevant home range for Airthry Castle. In this case, Raven, Central Scotland, Stirlingshire 0023. We can click on the Copy to Form button, and that will carry that information across for us. We can click the blue Continue button to carry on. This brings us through to the following form, where we can capture some extra detail about this nest site. There are 3 compulsory fields that have to be completed in order to save a new nest site to the system. These are basically indicated by red asterisks and include the location code, a primary habitat and a nest site. Let's go ahead and fill this as completely as we can now for this new nest site we're creating. So in the nest site and name section of the form, we can pop in a name for it. So let's go for Logie Kirk. We can give it our own user-defined code. So we already had a coding system up and running on our study area here. So let's go for Raven 04. Let's look at the spatial details section of the form now. This is all being completed automatically, so there's nothing to be done here. Of note though, it's popped in the SRMS home range code that we just attached this nest site to, Raven, Central Scotland, Stirlingshire 0023. The next section of the form relates to sharing the location with other SRMS Online users. We can come back to look at that further in another tutorial. The habitat section of the form should also be completed, so we can give it a primary habitat of the nest site. In this case, we're going to go for urban industrial, and let's populate the management activities. We're not sure what they are in this particular instance. Let's select unknown. And then the final section of the form relates to the nest site details. Here, nest type is mandatory. Let's complete that with new self-built nest. And we can also pop in a site type. In this case, we're on a church, so we're on some sort of built structure. If we have a look here, we've got industrial urban building. The following details then are all really valuable for the BTO's nest record scheme, so I'd urge you to complete these as fully as you possibly can. So you're able to say whether the nest is in another nest of another bird or animal. You can indicate whether it's over water or an islet. We can pop in a nest height. Let's say in this case we're at 10 metres above the ground. You'd be able to say whether it was near a margin or the centre of either a wood or field. We can say how exposed the new nest site is. I'm going to say exposed in this particular instance. You can pop an orientation in. Let's say that this is facing west. The aspect is on vertical ground in this instance. You can also pop in further details. For example, if you had any particular comments about the nest site and wanted to add in some further descriptive information. We can then click on the blue Save button to store all that information for us. What we can now see is the new nest site has got its own pin on the map that's now orange. We click on it and we can see we've got the Raven 04 at Logie Kirk showing in the left hand side of the map. Let's also imagine that we've detected a completely new pair of ravens that's moved into our study area and has established a nest site on the Wallace Monument. So we need to go through a similar process again. We can navigate on the map to find our new nest site. I'm just going to zoom in. We can click on Nest Site in the Create Tools box and drop the pin onto our location. Now, instead of picking one of the SRMS home range codes that has been detected, we can click on the button at the bottom to create a new home range. We need to tell it the species and we can click Continue. And we're through to the same form as earlier on, so we'll pop in the details. Wallace Monument. We'll give it a location code. We'll pop in some habitat information and give it some nest site details. And then we can hit the blue Save button. This time, if we zoom back in, we can now see that the Wallace Monument has been added onto the map. At this point, it is worth just showing you that you can also filter by the species in this left-hand side of the map. So if we go in and filter by raven, what this actually does for us is it colours the different nest sites according to the home range. So nest sites falling within the same home range will be given the same colour. So in this case we had Airdrie Castle already loaded. We created Logie Kirk and we can see that they have been given the same green colour. That differentiates them from the 3 other different nest sites associated with 3 completely separate home ranges. Map View and List View are fully integrated, so having created the locations in Map View, you will find that all the information for the locations we have just added has been captured in List View.